What is purity? Is it the absence of contaminants? Something pristine, unadulterated? Or is it the way we treat others, the conditions on which we give? Is purity a love? The kind felt for a distant community as if it were a close-knit family? Or is it the will to do good for no other reason than because it's good? Is it honesty, fairness, good character? One thing's for sure, purity is not easy. The pursuit of purity requires more than just conviction. It means rejecting even the thought of cutting a corner. It means doing what's right even when what's right is what's seemingly insurmountable. We are more than just an essential oils company. We are in the business of empowerment. Everything we do is designed to open opportunity. Whether it's a farmer inspired, a mother assured, an athlete emboldened, or an entrepreneur on fire, this is our mission, to empower through purity. It's why we don't just buy farms. We build farmers. It's why we don't just see another's potential. We make sure they see it themselves. It's why we turn wellness advocates into advocates of change, through our product as well as our purpose. It's why everything we do is designed to empower others. And best of all, we're not alone. So let's pursue together. Let's pursue healthier families and happier communities, kinder interactions and stronger connections. Let's pursue understanding and common ground, humility, empathy, and charity. Let's pursue being the difference that makes all the difference. Let's pursue a smile on the face of everyone we meet and a positive impact left behind everywhere we go. Because when the pure gifts of the earth are paired with the pure love of each other, there is no telling what we can achieve. doTERRA, pursue what's pure.
Welcome to Pursue South Africa 2020. I know I speak on behalf of our entire doTERRA corporate team when I say it is our pleasure to welcome you to this event today. This event has been titled as Pursue, and we hope the messages shared today inspire you to not wait around for a better future, but rather to pursue a better future.
This past year has brought challenges and hardships to many across the world. Many have experienced it personally or have watched their family and friends go through hard times and struggle through this uncertainty. doTERRA has been a light for many during these hard times. We want to continue sharing our messages of hope and our amazing products with all those facing trials across South Africa.
Today we'll be hearing from doTERRA members from across South Africa and the world. Each has their own personal story and experience of how doTERRA products and opportunities have brought them hope when they thought there was none.
No two individuals are exactly alike, and we have different things we go through, even us here at doTERRA Corporate. For me, my wife and son are who I work for every single day. I want to do all I can to give them the happiest life possible. Unfortunately, 2 years ago, my pursuit to be able to give them my 100% best effort was hit with some major challenges. I was diagnosed with a serious autoimmune disease, to which currently, unfortunately, there is no cure, and to which would restrict my activities on a daily basis. I was initially discouraged, but I made a decision early that I was not going to let this ruin my pursuit of life. With the support of my wife and those around me, I decided to fully commit and become the healthiest version of me possible. Along with changing some of my lifestyle habits and implementing some essential oils like copaiba, frankincense, turmeric, and adaptive every single day, I created my own daily health routines that have completely changed the quality of my life. I did not need to have all the answers to move on, because I had these incredible essential oils that I could rely on as I pursued forward. I've gone from being an essential oil skeptic to a true believer in the power of these products.
Prior to doTERRA, I worked in the healthcare field as a nurse. Early on in my nursing career, it quickly became apparent to me that there was a great need to educate people, including myself, on the importance of being proactive with our own health care. I began searching for more natural ways to support mine and my family's health. I'd heard about essential oils before, but they were just something that smelled good, things that, in aroma. It wasn't until I sustained a serious back injury at work that I learned about the therapeutic benefits of doTERRA's essential oils. The injury was so significant, affecting my ability to work and take care of my kids. I went through several diagnostic tests and procedures with no relief. One day, a friend offered to give me a massage using the essential oils. I was kind of hesitant at first, but I said, okay, I'll try it. And honestly, I was amazed by the results. I was able to experience firsthand the powerful therapeutic benefits of these essential oils. Not only did they help me improve physically, but my emotional well-being was improved as well. These results were so significant and life-changing for me that I could not help but share these beautiful gifts of the earth with others.
Growing up in Uganda, I was raised by a single mom. In our home, we're taught to use herbs as a natural way to support our own health, boosting our own immune systems to fight off any potential threats. Since moving out, I've wanted to expand my knowledge of personal health. Then about 2 months ago, I was introduced to essential oils when I applied to work for doTERRA. I started using this doTERRA Essential Balance Oil, and wow, I instantly felt its calming effect. And since then, I have fallen in love with many oils that have helped me reset and manage my health well. I am grateful to have doTERRA as part of my life. Our first speaker today will be Marty Krueger, a beautiful and passionate oil educator from Bloemfontein. Following Marty, we'll do doTERRA Super Couple Dr. Zia and Kai Nix. We are excited to hear from them both, and I know you will enjoy them.
Hi there, my name is Marty Krueger, and I am a Gold leader and an SA founder, and I am so privileged and excited to be speaking with you today. And I'm excited to be sharing with you my story of doTERRA, how I got started with doTERRA, and just how life-changing it has been to us as a family. So I am a mom of 2 boys. I have 2 amazing, handsome boys, and I'm a wife of an awesome husband. And my story with doTERRA started about a year ago. So about a year ago, we were going through some tough financial things. We started our own business, and unfortunately it wasn't going the way we wanted it to. We know you plan something. And in this whole process, I've always had a bigger vision. I always had this bigger vision that I wanted to provide something better for my family. But here we were in a very tough financial situation, and it wasn't just about not being able to go on holiday. It had a lot to do with not being able to buy groceries or, buying shoes for your children when they need it, or paying your school fees. And it was tough. So I'm a Christian, and I prayed and I said, God, give me an opportunity. You know my heart. You know who I am. I want to work from home. I want to be here for my family. I want to have an impact. I want to change people's lives. So there's something. You've got something for me. And the Lord reminded me of a video that I saw about 2 years ago. And this video was with 2 people, Kyle and Kirsten Kersbombs. I'm sure you have seen them or will see them here on Summit. And I saw this video of them being interviewed by somebody, and their whole interview just absolutely spoke to me. Everything that they shared resonated with me, and I just got so much hope. I shared that video with so many people. And when the Lord reminded me of this video, I thought, okay. And I sent Kirsten a message, and I said, Kirsten, what is doTERRA? Is it available in South Africa? I've prayed, and I really feel that this is something for me. And as Kirsten started to share with me, I really got excited. I had no idea what doTERRA was or essential oils. And as we started to speak, I just said to my husband, I know that this is what I have to do. So within this process, doTERRA just opened up in South Africa, and I had to order my box of oils. Oh my goodness. We didn't have the money to get started. I literally took grocery money. And I just said to my husband, I will work so hard, but I just know that I have to buy these oils. I got my box of oils, and it was like, okay, now what? What do I do with these oils? And as we started to, go on this journey, speaking with Kyle and Kirsten and some of our other, mentors, Dr. Danelle and Karuna, I just realized that there's so much more about these oils that I even thought I understood. And as we started to use these oils in our day-to-day life, we were amazed. Of course, we were skeptics. We didn't know how would peppermint work for when you've got head tension, or when you are nauseous and not feeling well, or using Zen Jest when my stomach was sore. And we were blown away every single time. Every time that we applied an oil, it was mind-blowing. And we just knew that this is something amazing. So I started to share with everybody that I know. And I couldn't actually stop sharing about the oils because they were so life-changing to us. So many physical ailments, was met with the essential oils. And I really got excited about that. But then also I had my first mental or emotional experience with one of the oils. And that really also actually got me excited. And it broadened my vision of where this could go to. So the first oil then that I really had this emotional experience with, and I'm going to share with you a couple of the oils that was really such a blessing and a gift to us, because this is really what doTERRA, the oils, and this whole community has been to us as a family. It's a gift. And doTERRA means gift of the earth. And that is really what it's been for us and so many countless of families that we know about. So one of our teachings taught about balance, and immediately I ordered this oil, got it, and applied it, like they say, underneath your big toe and, your pulse points. And it's an oil that's got all these woodsy flavors in them, and amazing essential oil blend. It's got hoe wood in it, and blue tansy, and blue chamomile, and frankincense. Don't worry, I'll get to frankincense. And for myself, and especially my youngest child, who definitely has some emotional, with myself, we need some grounding a little bit. And this is exactly what that oil does. It just grounds you. It keeps you calm. It takes away those anxious feelings, and it just helps with, it's a comforting oil, if I can put it like that. And I immediately sensed the difference in myself, and I could see that with my youngest as well. And I was just amazed. And so in this journey, we are learning more about the oils, understanding the vision of what and who doTERRA is. I've never, ever been more proud to be a part of something as amazing as this. And, rubbing shoulders with people like Kyle and Kirsten and, Dr. Danelle and Karuna just gave me this huge vision of where I would love to go with doTERRA, what I would like to do with this opportunity that's been given me, this gift of doTERRA. And I started to share with a lot of people, and my community grew, and I have an amazing team. We have such an awesome team. And then lockdown happened. Now, what can we say about lockdown? That was a very difficult time. Now, we have our own, normal brick and mortar businesses. And when lockdown happened, that was some tough times, because those businesses brought in zero income, nothing. We had nothing that we could do with that. We could just sit at home. And in this time, my doTERRA business just exploded. It literally exploded. People were just looking for a natural solution to health. People were looking for something that they can use that is so effective, and it's affordable, and it can just change their lives. But also in this time, so many people lost their jobs, businesses closed down, And I met amazing people that have, joined our team, saw the vision, and are just changing people's lives. And many of them, have become like family to us. They are like dear friends, and we just have the same vision. We saw people's lives being changed, and it's been amazing. And then something quite difficult happened. In lockdown, my mom passed away. So my mom was staying with us for about 11 years, and on the 12th of April, she passed away here in my house. And it was such a difficult time. Really looking back at that time, that whole week after that, I just wanted to lay in bed. I just couldn't even think about picking up my head. And my family, of course, was here, but nobody could visit. We couldn't do anything for my mom. It was very, very difficult. And I was so grateful for the community that we've got, our team all over the world in South Africa that was just supporting us. I was so grateful for the oils, 2 oils specifically that really just helped me so much in that time. One, which is frankincense. Now, you might know the name of frankincense. Frankincense was one of the gifts that was brought to Jesus. And, with this journey with essential oils, I really started to learn that there was so much more about these essential oils that I didn't even know. And frankincense was one of those oils. In the beginning, you dabble your feet and you try an oil here or there. And then when you start using something like frankincense, you just know that this is an oil that every person benefits from. It's an oil that works cellular deep. It's an oil that has got absolutely the most amazing healing properties. And it's one that actually works amazingly with your emotions and your cognitive function. So for myself, when I use this oil, it helped me so much with my emotions and what I had to deal with. And it felt like just too much at some times. And, something that I learned through the videos that I watched of Dr. Hill, where he shared that, one of the keys of successful usage of essential oils is consistency. And as we consistently use these oils, we even had the emotional support that we really needed. And, my absolutely amazing team, my family, my beautiful family, our uplines, they were there for us in this whole situation. And, all of that helped me to get out of bed, have a vision, and just to keep on going while things were very tough. And I've been so grateful. I am so grateful for this amazing community. It's been life-changing. If it wasn't for doTERRA, especially in the lockdown, I don't think we would have made it. I don't know where we would have been. We would have lost everything if it wasn't for doTERRA. And, we are forever grateful for what doTERRA has brought into our lives and the changes that it's been making for us. Now, one of the most amazing oils that I've, left for last is an oil that was added to my armor, if I can put it like that. And that was the oil of adaptive. Now, I'm one of those people. I read a lot. I listen to a lot of videos, and I did a lot of research, and I read every testimony about this adaptive, and I just knew I want this oil. And my sister-in-law actually stays in America, and she started to use this oil before me, and she said, Marty, when you get this oil in South Africa, you need to get it. So I immediately ordered my adaptive, and except for what happened with my mom, our 2 beautiful boys, my oldest one is in grade 8. And he's literally he didn't go to school for 6 months, just being at home, dealing with the loss of a grandma that he absolutely adored. Even my grade 4, they didn't go to school a lot, very little, didn't see a lot of people, had to deal with this immense loss and just being stuck in home. And when we got this adaptive, I can't tell you what happened. Like within the next day, it was like my oldest son was back again. hugging me and just being his own joyful self. It's got all of these amazing oils in it. It's got lavender, it's got copaiba, so many of the calming oils, wild orange, rosemary, magnolia, and all of those oils individually are amazing, but combined, there's just something about that oil. I actually call it my lifesaver oil because that's how I feel about that oil. I felt like it literally changed the whole atmosphere in our house. It helped us with those really sad and anxious and worried and, all those feelings that we were dealing with. And we have a rule in our house. It's like adaptive in the morning, adaptive in the afternoon, adaptive at night. I put it in my diffuser many times and I apply it topically. And I absolutely love adaptive. It's just one of those oils that I won't be caught without. Now, doTERRA is definitely an oil company, but they are so much more, even our, the support from the management, I've got amazing people that are there and just helping you every step of the way, wanting you to win. And I couldn't be more proud or more, grateful to be a part of something like this. So absolutely, I've been so grateful, as I said, about this whole journey with doTERRA. It's been life-changing. And, even the support from, the management, Joanna, Addison, Ryan, each one of them has gone out of their way to just help us win and make a difference in our country and helping people getting these amazing oils and building a business and changing lives. So for us as a family, I can't even imagine one day not having these oils in my life, but also just sharing this with people has been the greatest treasure in my life. Meeting amazing people, and I am forever grateful. So doTERRA, thank you for giving us this opportunity in South Africa to change our lives and change the people around us. Have a wonderful day. God bless you all.
Hey, what's going on, my brothers and sisters in South Africa? We are super excited to be with you guys for this summit. My name is Kai Nix, and this is my wife, Dr. Zia Nix, and we're Presidential Diamonds based out of New York City.
Hi, everyone. We are thrilled to get to join you for this online summit. We hope that you're enjoying it. It's so exciting to get to be a part of this. So we are going to jump right in.
Let's do it.
So I'm going to share with you a little bit about how we got started in doTERRA and about what we've learned along the journey. So I was introduced to doTERRA at the end of 2012, which coincidentally is the same time that I met
Mr. Kai Nix,
my handsome husband, Kai Nix. So I like to say that I met doTERRA and Kai at the same time.
Two magical things at one time.
Yes, absolutely. So it's been 8 wonderful years in both respects. So with doTERRA, I'm a chiropractor, and I had a practice in downtown Manhattan, and when I started using the oils with patients in my practice, the results that I saw were absolutely incredible and undeniable. And so I fell in love with the oils very, very quickly. They became an integral part of every aspect of my life, and they continue to this day. So I actually closed my practice about 2 years into building doTERRA. At that same time, Kai joined me in the business. And we've been doing this together now for the last 6 years, and it has been a wonderful, wonderful adventure.
And the way I came into this whole doTERRA thing is, like Dr. Zia said, we met in 2012. During that time, I was running health clubs, some of the top health fitness clubs in New York City, 15 plus years of running health clubs. And she brilliantly introduced me to these wonderful oils and this wonderful company of doTERRA. Prior to that, I knew very little of essential oils, very little. I knew about peppermint oil, simple stuff like that. And it took me a little while to actually grasp how important these oils are to the body. And someone who loves to take care of my body to its peak performance, and I also love seeing other people achieve their goals. So that's why it was like a great fit, because doTERRA is about helping others achieve physical, mental awareness and just up leveling themselves. So it was a perfect fit for me. But it took me a little while, and I fell in love with the oils. But it took a little education on Zia's part, Dr. Zia's part with me, to really know what these oils can do for the body and how important they are.
And what was the first product that you fell in love with? What's your favorite product?
Favorite product? Well, like,
do you want to tell us about it?
I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it till later. I'm going to surprise you guys. You probably won't be surprised since I'm into fitness.
So it's been a wonderful ride, and we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot about this business, and we're going to share some of the things that we've learned with you. So 3 things that are very, very special about this business that you always want to keep in mind as you're growing your business. So when I first started, the first check that I received from doTERRA was for something like $6.87, right? And I had been teaching a number of classes, and I remember having a phone call with one of my upline mentors and saying, you know, I was very, very successful in my chiropractic business. And I remember telling her this, you know, I don't understand this check. This is confusing to me. And it just doesn't seem worth it, right? This business, just doesn't seem that profitable. And she said to me something that I've passed on many times to my leaders and other team leaders, and I'm passing on to you as well. That what you want to remember is that you're not working for the check that you have in your hand now. What you're doing is you're working to build your vision and to build your legacy and create something that will outlast you. doTERRA is a business that when we build it sustainably, we can actually pass it down to our children. We can leave it to our children. And so we're building something that is going to outlive us by far. Okay, so that's number 1.
Yes, and that's
building a legacy,
right? And that's something that you guys can take with you. You know, what is your legacy going to be? What do you want that legacy to be when you pass and you're gone? So that's very important to just sit down within yourself and figure out, what do you want to leave behind?
Absolutely. Second thing is that everything you do duplicates. Everything you do duplicates, and so in your leaders. So they're looking to you to see what are the best practices to build your business. So you want to do the things that you want duplicated. Yes. And if you don't want things duplicated, don't do those. Okay. Right. One of the big things is going to be follow through, right? Follow through, follow up. Open communication, upline and downline and sideways, and continually growing, continually pushing through fears or obstacles, or if you reach a plateau in your business, right, you continually to work to move through that. If you reach a plateau, what that means is it's time to skill up, right? Time to learn a new skill, time to up level. So that's number 2. Number 3 is going to be doTERRA is an incredibly noble profession.
Yes.
Right? We have the opportunity to really create the lives of our dreams, to create a business that is, like, as we said, going to long outlast us and also be very, very profitable. But we can't do that without bringing other people along with us, right? The way that our compensation plan is designed, we get to support other people in building their dreams as well. And it's often said that the way to get what you want is to help as many people as possible get what they want. Yes. And that's what doTERRA is all about. It's a business. It's an ideal vision of what business can be like, a business where everyone wins, everyone along the supply chain, everyone in your organization, your customers, your leaders, everyone wins.
Yes, and that's what I love about this company. It's truly a beautiful community. It's a community like no other. No other business you will ever be a part of, because it's such a loving community where you're doing your business by yourself, but you're not alone doing your business, because you'll always have help. You'll always have mentors. You'll always have the tools to succeed. So once again, you're going to build this by yourself, but not actually
for yourself.
For yourself,
but not
by yourself. Correct. Thank you, Dr. Zia. So that's the kind of community we have here. And that's the kind of community we wanted to be a part of. And that's what doTERRA gives you. So very excited. I'm excited for you guys. That's the most important thing. I'm excited for South Africa.
Yes. Next thing is, so there's seasons in doTERRA, just like any other business, right? There's high seasons and there's low seasons. There's times where things are exciting and they're moving and lots of people are coming to classes, and then sometimes it might slow down a little bit. And so we have 3 things to remember in your high season and 3 things to remember in your slow season. So let's start with the slow season so that we end on a really happy, positive note. So the first thing to remember when you are in a slow season is that everyone is looking to you for inspiration.
Yes.
Right? Remember, we said everything you do duplicates. And so your leaders, your customers, everyone is looking to you for inspiration to see, what are you doing? Right? Are you still digging in? Are you still keeping that vision? Are you still keeping your eyes on the prize? Right? Are you showing up every day?
Yes. And that's what energy is. Energy is everything. And what type of energy are you bringing to your business? Are you down every day because you're doing this business? Are you sad because you have to go out and try to find people to be a part of doTERRA with you? But if you have excitement for doing this business, if you find the joy and the fun of it, that will translate in you not only finding people to be a part of your team, but it'll just translate to the success of your business. So like I said, energy is everything. And when you have a positive outlook and a positive energy when doing this, it's going to be fun, it's going to be exciting, and it's going to surpass all the down times. So always have fun doing it, stay excited, and people watching, they'll feel excited. So you're excited, they'll feel excited. Energy goes into one person to another. So always have a positive outlook and positive energy.
And the third thing in the slow season is show up and serve.
Yes.
Show up and serve. That is the key to this business. Keep showing up, keep serving, because there are so many people who need these oils and are looking for answers that will turn their lives around in profound ways. So even whether it's a slow season or it's a high season, people always need these. And so it might be, instead of doing classes, you might be doing more one-on-ones, right? You might be doing a lot more follow-ups and supporting your customers and really making sure that your leaders know how to do the same, right? You want to make sure that you're duplicating really wonderful business habits that are going to help everybody grow no matter what the season might be. So whether it's for your customers, whether it's for your business builders or your family, we always show up and serve, ready to be there.
Yes.
Okay, 3 things to remember in a high season. Okay, 3 things to remember in a high season is that you want to build momentum. If you do it right, you can build enough momentum sometimes to take you through the whole year, but at least to take you to the next high season. Okay, so building momentum means you're doing your classes, you're doing your one-on-ones, you're doing your follow-ups, you're creating the relationships so that through the rest of the year, now you have a whole pool of people to tap into for referrals, to book classes. They can be hosting classes. They might be thinking about becoming a business builder, right? And
like I said before, when you have that positive energy going on, that's going to create that drive and that momentum to move you forward and to keep you going. Keep you going through those times where you're like, oh, this is so tough, but you're going to get through it because you have that momentum going and that positive energy going. So always keep one foot moving in front of the other. Never stay stagnant. Never stop doing something. Always keep moving. Always keep learning. Always keep educating yourself. Always keep reaching out. So keep the brain moving and you're going to have a wonderful time doing this. I just know.
Number 2, celebrate every win.
Yes. We love celebrating.
Every win, like crazy, right? No matter how small you might think it is. Don't skip over anything.
Yes.
Every win is another step closer to getting to your big goal and to your leaders getting to their big goal. So celebrate every win. You get to create the culture on your team, right? And so we wanted to have, your team culture is kind of like you create it in the way that you want the world around you to look. And we knew that we wanted our team culture to be one of joy and partying and support, where everybody gets to be big and shiny and have fun and step out boldly because they know that they have a whole team that's going to catch them if they should fail, right? And so that's what we set up in our team. That's the team culture we set up, and we celebrate everything. If someone steps out big, it doesn't matter if they got to their goal or not. If they step out big, we're celebrating them because that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, and I just want to say, like Dr. Zia said, celebrate everything, even if it's small. If you teach your first class and you were a little nervous about teaching your first class and you did it, regardless if it was maybe 1 or 2 people at your class, celebrate that. Take the time to find the joy in that. You accomplished that. That is something that, you wanted to do when you said, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it happen. And you made it happen. So celebrate that win. No matter how small, no matter how big, always celebrate and celebrate others. Because when you celebrate others, it's that energy I'm talking about that's positive. So always celebrate. We love doing that on our team.
Yeah. Sometimes we do contests where we see who can book the most classes. And we do a prize for the person who booked the most classes, but we also do a prize to the person who got the most no's because they went for it, right? And they might not have booked the most classes, but they really, really went for it, and we celebrate them, right? So celebrate everything. And thirdly, when things are going great and you're in a high season, is show up and serve.
Show up and serve.
Show up and serve. Always. That's always the number one thing in business. Your number one guiding principle is show up and serve, because if you show up and serve, the people will come. There are so many people who need this and want answers. They want answers for things that they can do for their health that are going to be easy and affordable. Right. So now we're going to share with you 3 of our favorite products. So I'll share one of mine first. So the first one I'm going to share with you is one of my absolute favorite oils. It is one of the first oils that I fell in love with. It is Smart and Sassy, also known as the Metabolic Blend, and it is a powerhouse oil. Not only is it going to support with a healthy metabolism, support with suppressing the appetite and limiting cravings, it also gives you energy and it makes you feel smart and sassy. It helps with confidence, it helps with self-love and really stepping out and kind of taking up a bigger space in the world. It's an oil that I will take a couple drops on under my tongue if I need energy. So if I'm working out, if I just need an energy boost in the middle of the day rather than drinking coffee, I take Smart and Sassy. Also, if I'm driving at night, if I'm going for a long drive, I make sure that I have it with me just in case I need a little pick-me-up. But also, when I need a little confidence boost, this is one that I go to. So anytime before I get on stage, before I get online to do a webinar, to do a call, or to make a phone call that I need a little bit more confidence for, I do a couple drops of Slim and Sassy under my tongue. And it is has never failed me in 8 years. It always does exactly what I need it to do.
Excellent. And my favorite in the beginning of this, we were going to talk about what was the first product that I was introduced to and fell in love with. And this right here, the Deep Blue Rub. This is my favorite. I cherish this. Like I said, Dr. Zia introduced this to me. She knew I was into fitness. She knew I was into taking care of my body. Like I said, I was running fitness clubs, and this was an important one for me. Someone who's athletic, like myself, someone who loves to be in the gym, someone who loves taking care of their body. I'm getting up in age. So I started to feel the results of getting up in age. And this was a go-to for me. It has excellent oils in it. Helichrysum, camphor, wintergreen, blue tansy, just to name a few. And it's a rub that just goes on. It doesn't go on greasy. You can apply it and put your clothes on right after. And it's so soothing to the muscles that it's almost like I use it pre-workout and post-workout. So I never leave home without it. Whatever activity I'm doing, if I go for a hike, I take this with me because I know I'm going to feel the effects of that hike. And this will help me just recover more quickly. I suggest anyone who's a professional athlete, collegiate athlete, on the kid level, kiddie athletes, this is for everybody, all ages. The elderly, older people can use this just to soothe those aches, and it's so important. So if you're weekend warrior, this is the ticket. This is the ticket, and this is my favorite. I use this, and actually, I want to tell you a little quick story real quickly. I got hit by a car in 2017 crossing the street, and this, along with other essential oils, really sped up my recovery getting back into the gym. So I love this right here.
And the third oil is Holiday Joy. Holiday Joy. It's such a beautiful oil, and I'm so happy that this is just in time for the holidays and you all can get this oil because it smells beautiful. It smells like the holidays. It's got a beautiful cinnamon, citrusy, clove kind of pine, fir, tree smell to it. It's fantastic. And so you put it in your diffuser and the whole house smells like the holidays. It's really, really wonderful. It's comforting, it's warming, it's cozy. And emotionally, it really helps with intimacy. And, sometimes we go to family gatherings and sometimes it's great, sometimes it's hard. I know that, with my patients, every time the holidays come up, there's a lot of stress because sometimes family can be stressful. And so Holiday Joy is really wonderful to support in having greater intimacy and healthy family relationships, while also the clove helps with having healthy boundaries so that we're really able to be in the energy of everyone and fully engaged in the activities, and yet really being able to feel like we have healthy boundaries so that we're maintaining our energy, we're maintaining our stamina and feeling great moving through. I'm a doctor. I'm a presidential diamond in doTERRA. We're very successful in our lives, but I'm the fifth out of 6 children. So when I get together with my family, I'm the little sister. And so it's a very different dynamic. And I know that happens with a lot of people. So Holiday Joy is one of my favorite oils because it really helps with still being able to have fun and have my healthy boundaries and maintain my energy no matter what the gathering might be, no matter where we might be. It's warming, it feels good, and it's a feel-good oil.
Awesome. So we really hope you guys enjoyed this. We hope you guys learned a few things from the Nixes, and we're so excited to be a part of this summit with South Africa. We love you guys, the brothers and sisters out there in South Africa. We can't wait to get there. So we love you guys.
Yes. And so enjoy the rest of your summit. Thank you for allowing us to join you. Thank you for taking the time to be with us, and have a wonderful rest of the summit.
Thank you, Kai and Zia and Marty, for those great messages. Next up, we're going to hear from Kyle and Kirsten Kersbombs. They're living in Hawaii. They're our presidential diamonds here in the U.S. We're also going to hear from Joy King. She's one of our gold leaders in South Africa, and she'll be sharing the therapeutic benefits of essential oils with rest and harmony. Take good notes.
What's up, everyone? Kyle Kersbombs here with my amazing wife,
Hello.
Kirsten. We're super excited to have the opportunity to speak during this Pursue event here for South Africa. It's such an incredible time. It's been, I think, a little over a year since many of you were first introduced to doTERRA. And really what we hope to accomplish today, one of the biggest, is we were kind of talking about what message could we share and how is it that we could really help you maybe see yourself and some of your struggles and successes and challenges in us and what we've been through, and kind of take that and use that as a roadmap to really have clarity and confidence for the future. And so we really want to focus on 3 lessons of hope, stories, moments of time during our journey that have really allowed us kind of critical turning points. I always think that in any journey to success, there's always these little critical moments that we get to make a decision to really take advantage of and really magnify, or we don't, right? And we decide to do something else. So we want to talk about these three lessons of hope. So lesson number 1.
Lesson number 1.
Yeah.
Is that my cue? Okay. All right. Wonderful. No, we're so excited to be here with you. And I actually want you to know that in the very beginning of my doTERRA journey, I had no idea what I was doing. Actually, I felt really unsure, but yet there was a glimmer of hope in my heart. And that is really what propelled me forward in the beginning. It was just me building a business, loving the oils, and Kyle was, working in other capacities to take care of our family. But in the very beginning, there was this moment that I found our family in, where we had really been through what I would say is the hardest thing we've
one of the hardest parts of our life.
Still gone through. We actually lost all of our income. We had no business, no money. We had to move out of our home. We were borrowing money from our family just to buy diapers and milk and gas and things like that. We ended up with actually no car for a little while and just really started over in our lives. And at this time, thankfully, we had been using some of the essential oils that we had been introduced to, right? Just to take care of our children.
Barely, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we were using them because nothing else was working, right? That's kind of where we were. We had tried the things that we had known,
right,
and they weren't really working. And so, out of desperation, we're like, okay, we're gonna listen, and we're gonna try this.
We really came to an awakening point, actually, where we realized not only in our life with our finances, but also with our health, that it was really up to us to become empowered individuals, not to seek answers outside of ourselves or from other people, but to really come from within and to find that hope and that drive from within ourselves. And there was a quote that I found as I was beginning my journey in doTERRA. I want to share it with all of you. And that is, you might want to write this down. If you're taking notes right now, this would be a good time to write this down. There are 2 primary choices in life: to accept conditions as they exist, or to accept the responsibility for changing them. Yeah. That's mic drop right there. You know what I mean? Boom.
Sure.
This is up to you. And in fact, it's really not even up to your upline or your mentors or anybody else. It's actually up to you to decide, this is what I'm meant to do. This is how I'm going to care for myself and my family. This is how we're going to do it, right? And so that quote really carried with me through some pretty pivotal points in the very beginning of my business. And I want to share with you one of the moments that I had to really make a big decision. So right before we lost everything in our lives, in our business, we had actually booked a little trip, right? It was for our anniversary, I think. So I had some airline credits. Of course, once we lost everything, I had to cancel that trip, but I had a little bit of airline credit. And what I did is I cashed in all those credits, both on his ticket and my ticket. And I got myself a ticket to go and start my business in another area. In fact, it just happened to be Hawaii, which is amazing. I had one of my best friends, Rochelle, who lives in Hawaii still, and she wanted to start sharing essential oils as well. She was in a place in her life where that made sense for her. And so we decided to start this doTERRA business together. And, you know, I came over to Hawaii. We taught a bunch of classes. We had a lot of fun. We had a few failures, definitely some sweaty moments where it was frustrating and I had a screaming baby with me the whole time and it was really hard, but also really fun. And what I want you to know is that during that time where I cashed in the airline miles, I flew out to Hawaii. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew that this was where I was supposed to be. And what happened from that moment is Rochelle was able to share essential oils with a few people who also really loved it. And one of those individuals is another amazing leader on our team, Brandy and Jerry. And they had a big vision as well. And they really went gangbusters.
They're the first leaders on our team that really just even blew our mind.
Yeah. We're like, oh gosh, we should probably try to keep up with these guys. Like they're amazing. And so there's always people in our lives that are put in our path that like, we can't always see the big picture, right? I'm not like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be a top leader. But I knew that my heart was being called in this direction, that I was willing to sacrifice whatever it was that I needed to sacrifice to get there. And that I had faith and a vision for sharing with as many people as I possibly could. And what I want you to take from that lesson is I made the decision to change my circumstances. Right. It came from that decision, right?
Well, the reasons why you can't do something become the reasons why you can do something.
Yeah, why you have to do something.
Yeah, so in our lives at that time, we were living in my parents' home. I think we had got a vehicle. We didn't have any money to travel, so we cashed in airline credits.
Yeah.
We were, barely making enough money just to kind of pay our bills. And so I just think it's so important that you take a second right now and you look at your life and you look at this first lesson of hope and ask yourself, what are the reasons that I am telling myself, the stories or legit reasons, while I'm telling myself I can't do this, right? I don't have the money, timing's not right. I don't know.
My family doesn't like it. There's
so much uncertainty in the world right now. And to be honest, people who succeed at the highest levels take those reasons and they make them the reasons why they have to change. Why today is the day where I will never use those reasons again. And so that's I personally believe that some of the greatest stories of success usually come from moments where there is little to no hope. And that person decides to take ownership of their life. They decide to look at all those reasons that have been stopping them. And they say, you know what? No, today's the day. Today's the day that these reasons now become the reasons why I will succeed. And so that is really lesson number one, right? Making that decision, taking ownership. And I think one of the cool things I love that you shared about Rochelle and Brandy is that, when you take responsibility and those reasons become the reasons why you're going to succeed, it's not like the magic yellow brick road just gets rolled out in front of you.
Yeah.
Right?
It's brick by brick.
You flew over to Hawaii with a new baby, with no money, right? Rochelle wasn't in a great situation either.
No, she was living in a shack in the jungle.
A shack in the jungle. Yeah. Okay. And you went and taught a bunch of classes. Mm-hmm. Some people listened. Probably most people maybe didn't. But out of all of that, right, came this beautiful moment where Brandy And, her family saw something for themselves in your vision. Right. I mean, even if it was, even if it was just this baby vision, they saw that for themselves. And then because of that, I mean, one of the biggest successes in our business today has been from their efforts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of people in Canada and Australia, all over the world, because of that.
Super grateful.
And so I want you to really, hopefully you can take this, and I want you to ask yourself, are you going to let your reasons why you think you can't do something stop you from taking action and really creating these moments where other people get to see your vision?
Yeah.
Right. And you get to experience those moments that are so beautiful. So
I love it.
Lesson number one.
Lesson number one. We got to get to lesson number two, which is another really great one. I got to take you back a year and a half before we were broke living in your parents' house, right? A year and a half before, I was just a brand new mama, and I had 2 little boys. We have 5 now. They just kept multiplying. It's like our downline.
Where did they come from?
Yeah. Anyway, so 2 little boys, and they kept getting sick. And it was just this constant thing for me. It was just always frustrating. And if you're a parent, it's like your kids are sick and it's like everything gets put on hold. You're like, what do? I got to go to the doctor. I got to take care of them. They
can't go to work.
Do the laundry more. I got to I got to make sure that you become a nurse all of a sudden. Now I have a nursing degree. Anyway, so I was taking care of them so much. And one of my good friends, Melina Harrison, shared this idea of natural medicine with me. I was not raised holistically. So if you're kind of like essential oils, I'm not really sure how that even works or the science of it or anything, that's okay. I wasn't either. I'm just a mom using oils in my family. And that really became a source of hope for me in the very beginning, was that there was a better way to be able to take care of my children. And for me, there's nothing better. So at this point, there's not a better way to take care of my children naturally. And then now it's like with this business and with all the things that we're able to create, there's not a better way to show my children how to create a lifestyle where their parents get to be home together, parenting them. Sometimes I think they might like the separate, well, mom said so. I'm like, actually, mom's in the other room. So we're going to just verify that right now. But there's not a better way also to show our children about what it means to create a community of like-minded individuals, right? So there is not a better way to care for families than to be a part of this opportunity. And that has really given me an incredible amount of hope, especially in today's day and age where there's a pandemic going on and there's all kinds of fear and different concepts and pains, that we're all going through, or some of us are going through. And there's not a better way to take care of our families than to use essential oils every day. Essential oils open up our bodies to receive more light, more energy, more positivity. Like as I'm going throughout my day sharing oils with others, I'm becoming a better version of myself, and I'm helping others do the same, including my own children.
Yeah, I think that sometimes we get wrapped up in focusing on ourselves, right? And when we focus on ourselves, we don't think about the opportunity that we have to serve other people. And so, we're really grateful that Melina wasn't thinking of herself and was, maybe she was a little nervous to share with us. Obviously, she saw us in this moment where we're like, hey, what else do we do? And I think that's, again, the greatest opportunities to serve people are when people are in these moments where they don't really know what else to do. And the day and age we live in now is just full of those moments. And one of those moments that, really that I remember is, some of our good friends, Melford and Conchetta Bibbins, they had been using the oils. One of their good friends was a chiropractor who loved serving people, had been in a car wreck, really was in a wheelchair, not because he couldn't move his legs, he was just in so much pain, and had been talked to about essential oils, but really had never dove into them. And, he shows up at their house. Conchetta goes into this, service mode, helping him, serving him, kind of teaching him the basics of what oils to use. And for Dr. Mark, the light bulb went on, right?
Right.
And he was able to find solutions that today, I mean, it's been 5 or 6 years, but, the guy's skiing and doing everything, all the things that he loves to do, and he gets to serve and teach people. But I look at that, your point of the oils, it is through the oils that the opportunity to serve people and even the opportunity for this business are born.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what is amazing, is that when we stop thinking about ourselves and we think about how this serves other people.
Right.
And that's why the majority of people who are building a doTERRA business have been customers. I mean, how long? We were customers for a year.
Yeah, a year and a half, really.
A year and a half. And most people are customers or at least have those moments where their authenticity to share and serve and educate other people is born from the impact that it's had on them.
Yeah, totally. Well, I think what you brought up with Dr. Mark, whom we love, and his wife Christy as well, is it brought hope to them, just to feel better. Like the deep blue, the way that Conchetta used oils on him, he felt better. And that, again, it opened him up to what else is possible for when I start to feel better, right? Just a simple little drop of oil can really bring a lot of hope. It brought a lot of hope to me with our children and their sicknesses. It brought a lot of hope to so many others. So it really is the oils that bring the hope to people when they use them every single day.
Yeah.
So, and finishing up, we want to talk about one of the things that means the most to us when we think about the hope that not only we have for our lives, but more importantly, the hope that we have to bring to other communities. So we've got to take you back. It's actually been 2 years now since we went to Guatemala with many of our team. I think we had about 40 of our team members that went to Guatemala with us, and our 2 boys, those 2 boys I was telling you about that I helped with all their sicknesses, we got to bring those boys to Guatemala with us on a humanitarian trip. And when I think about bringing hope and the hope that doTERRA gives to people, whether they're doing the business or whether they're just using the oils and whether they're out in other countries helping other people, what you are a part of is a global community of people who genuinely care about you. And what all of us are seeking right now is a community of people with integrity who genuinely want to help us and help us become the greatest version of ourselves that we could possibly be.
Yeah. I think that especially, there is so much work that doTERRA does in Africa, right? And I think that, all of you will have opportunities coming up to participate in co-impact sourcing trips, healing hands trips to some of these African countries. And I'll tell you, there's not a more powerful, we talk about on one side of the bottle, how the oils serve people and empower people. But I'll tell you what, it is a whole different feeling when you're looking into the eyes of the parents whose families have been harvesting tea tree oil or, Roman chamomile or whatever it is, sometimes for hundreds of years.
Right.
And sometimes they've been stuck in situations where they've been stuck in poverty because middlemen will wait until they have to sell it at the last second and they can't put their kids in school. They don't have, and then doTERRA comes in and kind of just totally changes, it really empowers them.
Brings hope to their entire community.
Right. And so to be able to see that hope in their eyes is incredible. And so just remember that whenever you're not clear about your vision, whenever maybe you don't feel like you're going in the right direction or things aren't working out perfectly, try to remember that it is not always about you, right? It is, of course, you have big goals and there is a tremendous opportunity to serve, but bring yourself back to a place where you are thinking about how you can bring hope to those people that are not already in your community or that are already in your community, right? But that you can put that hope first. And if you can do that, that will create a vision, a more powerful vision for your team and what you are trying to create than any amount of crazy goals or any other recognition that you could ever really create. And so those lessons have been really, really powerful, right? Making a decision, understanding that the product is the opportunity, right? The empowerment, and understanding the hope that our communities bring each other, what you're creating. I mean, you're just creating this new community of hope in South Africa. And I mean, if we were to turn the mic over to you and say, hey, tell us your experiences using the oils, we could just do that for the rest of the time. And it's from that you transform a country, and that you transform countries and the world.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. There's so many of you listening now that I have personally spoken to, and I've heard your stories of hope. I've heard your stories where there was just something that told you, I need to pay attention to this. I need to listen to what these people have to say. I think this is what I want to do with my life, right? So I just really encourage you to remember why you started. Remember what it was that drew you to this opportunity. There are so many people who you are meant to bless. And I remember in the very beginning when I first started, just like you, I had no idea that I would be able to bless this many people. Nobody told me that I would be here speaking and opening, countries in South Africa and things like that. Those things were not a part of what I knew in the beginning. And we can't always see the big vision that is in store for us. But I'm telling you that this is the place for you to be in a community of people who love you, who are authentically looking to serve the most people, to source the best and help the most, right? We source the best oils, but I know that we actually source the best people as well. And that's why all of you have been drawn here today. So we thank you for being here. We love you and super grateful to be on this journey with you. Thanks, you guys.
Hello everybody, my name is Joy. I am delighted to be here today to share my story with you, my doTERRA story with you. It's such an honor and a privilege to be standing here. And I'd like to just go back 24 years ago when I became a mom. And as Rachel was laid on my chest and I looked at her, I had this overwhelming sense of responsibility for her health and well-being. And I think that is what catapulted me into becoming a lay student of natural health. I looked into everything possible at the time. And in our family's support arsenal, natural health support arsenal, was tissue salts and Bach flower remedies and homeopathy and traditional Chinese medicine and herbs and tinctures. I had them all. Plus my 2 trusty bottles of essential oil, what was available to us at the time. And that was lavender and tea tree. And I think most people kind of dip their toes into essential oils by just getting those 2, right? They're such common oils to get. But even though I had them, I didn't know much about them. And I actually remember one day they were standing on my bath, and I spoke out loud to them and said, "Why are you like the stepchildren of natural health? No one seems to know anything about you." And it was as if they spoke back to me and said, "Our time is coming." And my friends, I believe that their time has arrived. I believe that this is the time for essential oils and their healing and their beautiful gift that they have to offer us, gifts that they have to offer us. So many body systems that can be supported so beautifully through these oils in such a gentle but powerful way. So 17 years after I became a mom, our family was thrown into crisis. My children's father and I decided that we needed to part ways. And as much as it was an agreed arrangement, it still spun us out completely, right? I had huge anxiety. My anxiety levels just spiraled. My children were also, although we were very open communicators, we are very open communicators with our children. Obviously, just the spin out, right? It put us into stress and tension and anxiety. And I had homeschooled my children. So by then, we had homeschooled for about 9 years. I had just completed my training as a doula, which is a birth and labor companion. And also, I was also doing shiatsu massage training at the same time. So our whole world was just spun out, right? The safe family home in terms of homeschooling wasn't the same anymore. Mom had to get out and work and be away from the family quite a lot. And it was something that I really did not want to do, did not want to place any more tension on my family than already had been placed on them through our choices as the adults. And so I brought as much of my work home as possible, tried to work around my family. I also, as a mom, was just pouring every ounce of support into my children. I wanted to make sure that they were well. At the time, Rachel was 17, Eden was 15, and Zara was 11. And I just wanted to make sure they were okay. Their dad moved quite far away from where we live, and so it was really just the four of us. And, I'd been using the oils by then. I'd been using the oils for 3 years. My friend Christina, Christina Quist, she was the one who introduced me to doTERRA. And between the two of us, we had started placing orders as a GAC country to the States. And then we had friends who would bring the oils back for us, and started placing orders this way, and started, introducing people to doTERRA, even though doTERRA wasn't yet a presence in South Africa. And I was incorporating these oils into my life anyway. And one of the oils that I had really come to love was Balance, the Balance Grounding Blend, which is this one. And I'm a tree lover as well. I love trees. You will find me forest bathing at least once a month. And there are so many trees in here. And what I love about Balance is the fact that it, by using it, it promotes an overall sense of well-being and relaxation to the body. And so I learned to start using the oils consistently. I had been put on hectic anti-anxiety medication to carry me through our family trials, and I didn't like it. But I knew I needed to use it for a while anyway, just to get me through the difficult part. But what I slowly and consistently started incorporating into my life was the consistent use of the oils, and Balance was very much part of that. I love how it has a warm, woody aroma, and it's very soothing. And so for the times where I felt quite scattered and out of myself, the properties of the oils in this blend would just bring me right down back into my center again. And so I would even blend it. I would blend it with Wild Orange or Breathe or Serenity, put it into the diffuser, and that way I knew that I was helping my children to find that sense of stillness within themselves as well, and that support. And just bringing that sense of rest and harmony within myself. And I think what happens with a lot of people, especially moms, when things are falling apart, we always make sure that everybody else around us is all right? And we forget to take care of ourselves. And what I love about the dual way that oils work is that where I could be using it for my children, I was benefiting too. And I was slowly learning the gift of self-care. So then, as our divorce closed about a year later, Rachel, who was 18 at that point, she had, during that year, developed really intense stomach discomfort. It was definitely related to feelings of anxiety, of anxiousness, high anxious feelings, and tension. And it was so intense that she even landed up in hospital that Christmas. And she was just given so much pain medication because there was not much more that they could do for her. And it broke my heart to see my child having to be on such strong treatment for her discomfort, but nothing else seemed to be working. I realized that although I was using doTERRA essential oils, I still hadn't fully come to understand their value in terms of their therapeutic value. I still loved the idea of the fragrance and the aromas being uplifting and calming for me, but I never really understood at the time their therapeutic value. And about 2 years after Rachel had started developing this intense stomach discomfort, she ran out of her normal support treatments, and she just called me one night. She was working in hospitality at the time. She had a shift the next morning, and typically what would happen is that when an episode occurred, she wouldn't sleep that night, and she would just be in tears because it would be just so uncomfortable. And that night, we realized that she didn't have her normal medicines that she normally uses, and the only thing I had was Zengest. And I had nothing to lose. We'd never really used it properly before, you know. Anyway, I just said to her, hey, let's just try this out. And I put 2 drops of Zengest in water, lukewarm water, and I got her to just sip on that. And the first thing she said with her first mouthful was, Mom, I don't know how to explain this, but it feels as though my tummy has just gotten a warm hug. Do you know that she fell asleep that night, and she woke up the next morning well rested and was able to go to her job in hospitality, be on her feet for 8 hours without any more issues. She took her Zengest with her to work and knew that she would just need to keep taking it every time she felt that the discomfort was returning. It's now 3 years later, and she hardly has any discomfort at all. But when it does come up, she knows that she just needs to have her Zengest close by, and that it will help and soothe her almost right away. And so that was when my faith in the therapeutic value of doTERRA essential oils was amplified, because I recognized in that moment that we could use it as in a therapeutic way. In fact, what happened was I literally then chose to, every time there was a family health issue or concern, I would go to the oils first with intention. And we haven't stopped. We moved from our house 2 years ago, and all my other natural remedies was in a box. They hadn't been used for about 2 years, because I had made that decision to just go to the oils first. So yes, the doTERRA essential oils have been with us and part of a very big journey in my family, and it has sustained us, it has held us, it has taken care of us in so many ways. One of the oils that means so much to me is geranium, our geranium oil. And, most people use geranium oil for glowing complexions, really great for skin and hair. But its lesser known properties is that it can calm anxious feelings and help reduce tension. I didn't really know that. I just love the fragrance of geranium. And as a natural nature-loving family, we loved making our own body products. And so around the time of when our divorce had gone through, I noticed my children were asking for more geranium. They just needed more. So they would make their 10 ml roller, pure fume, right? And my goodness, it always had geranium in it. And around that time, their bottles would be finished in almost a week. And I was flabbergasted. I couldn't understand why my children were going through their geranium bottles, their little roller bottles, so quickly. And they would keep coming and say, Mom, we need more geranium, we need more geranium. And I couldn't understand it. I was getting quite annoyed with them, actually, because I was like, hey, it's my geranium. Until it occurred to me, it was a moment of, hold on, what if these oils, what if geranium is supporting them emotionally? Now, doTERRA themselves put no claim to the impact of essential oils on our emotions, except in very generalized terms. But I remembered that I had my emotions and essential oils book, And there was just something niggling because they kept coming and asking for more and more. And I decided to read, and I'm going to share with you what I found. It taught me that geranium is known as the oil of love and trust, that it restores confidence in the innate goodness of others and in the world, that it facilitates trust, especially when individuals have lost trust in others due to difficult life circumstances. It also assists in re-establishing a strong bond to one's mother and father. When I read that line, I knew that my children were intuitively asking for what they needed to stay connected to their parents during a very difficult time. And the first thing I did was I said, thank you. Thank you for helping my children know what they need. And the second thing I did was I took my bottle of geranium and I put it in a place in the house where everybody could get it. And I said to them, use it as much as you like. I don't mind. And we all still love geranium. But it was a very impactful moment because consistently I was learning that doTERRA essential oils, they're not just about the beautiful fragrances. They're not just about the aroma. There really is something about these oils that is able to carry us through different or varied life circumstances, and it brings support and healing and a holding that is unexplainable sometimes, except if you just were to experience it for yourself. So doTERRA, I'm so grateful to you. You have journeyed with me as a single mom through some really crazy years. We are very much at peace today. We are very much at home within ourselves. And yes, there's still pain, but we've been able to overcome a lot of it. And doTERRA has been such a deep part of that story, not just because of the oils, but also because I realized that I needed to have an income that kept me close to my family, where I wasn't needing to be away from them to go and attend a birth for 20 hours, 30 hours at a time. My children, my youngest, she was still young. I needed to be close by. And the doTERRA business opportunity was a no-brainer. I was accidentally earning anyway through teaching classes alongside Christina. And 3 years ago, I just decided, you know what, I have nothing to lose. I'm earning accidentally anyway. Let's make this concrete. And honestly, it pays my bills. It puts food on our table. We get to go on holidays. And I get to be in a community of the most beautiful souls on this planet. International community of people who journey together, who love one another, who have grown together, because we do grow. If you ever choose to do this business, be prepared to be transformed, to be challenged by, you're going to be challenged to grow. You cannot stay the same when you use these oils or when you join the business. So thank you so much for listening to my story today. I really appreciate your joining us, and I wish you well, and I hope that there was something in my story that blessed you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kyle, Kirsten, and Joy. You guys are tremendous leaders, and we are so grateful for your stellar messages today. We have our final two speakers. Janice Fisher, she is from Nova Scotia and a member of the doTERRA Veterinary panel. She has plenty of experience over the years of using essential oils with your pets. After her, we have one of my favorite couples in doTERRA, James and Roxanne Bybee. To paraphrase, they started at rock bottom, but once they discovered doTERRA, it led them on a journey to where they are now, which is financial freedom. We are really excited to hear from them next.
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Janice Fisher and I'm a holistic veterinarian in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, Canada. I'm also a wellness advocate and I have the honor of being one of the members of the doTERRA Veterinary Advisory Panel. So you'd think that being a veterinarian that my doTERRA journey began with animals, but it really didn't. I first started to pursue doTERRA essential oils because of my daughter Liv. She's now 7 years old, but when she was 4 years old, she used to wake up in the middle of the night with growing pains in her legs. And when we spoke to our family physician, she advised us that we could give her some anti-inflammatories on the nights that she woke up and were sore. However, there were weeks that Liv was waking up 4 to 5 times during the week, and I just wasn't comfortable giving such a young child anti-inflammatory medications that often. So that's when I started to pursue doTERRA essential oils. And luckily, I had a friend of mine whose daughter was a wellness advocate. So I met with her and she told me about Deep Blue and how I could dilute it with fractionated coconut oil in a roller bottle and have Liv roll that on her legs every night. And we did that and found that it really did help to support her musculoskeletal system. And she just was not waking up with the pains as often. So then if we rarely had to give her some medication, I was okay with that. But for the most part, the essential oils really helped to support her. Now, the other thing I loved about it was the fact that she could apply the oils herself. And so I really feel like that's teaching my daughter from a very young age that she has some control over her health and maintaining her well-being. And I think that's a great thing for kids to learn. Around the same time, I was actually experiencing horrible gastric reflux, and I'd gotten myself to the point where I was taking acid blockers every single day, and yet I was still having such discomfort after eating lunch that it was distracting me from my afternoon appointments. So I went to see a naturopath, and she told me that my problem was not that I had too much acid, but actually that I had now depleted my acid stores by taking all of those acid blockers. And she said that now the signals for my body to close my esophageal sphincter weren't happening because that happens from acid release after we eat. So she told me that I could not take any other acid blockers, and she gave me some hydrochloric acid tablets that I was to take every day. Well, I was beside myself and I wasn't sure how that was going to work because I was already so uncomfortable taking the acid blockers. I wasn't sure how I was going to go to work and concentrate on anything if I wasn't taking any of those medications. But I turned to my doTERRA enrollment kit and I got out my Zengest because I knew that it does provide some digestive support. So I started taking 2 drops of Zengest in the morning and 2 drops of Zengest at night. And then every once in a while, I'd have another drop under my tongue if I was suffering from some of that uncomfortable feelings during the afternoon. And I found that the Zengest really did help to support my digestive health. And I did so much better, and I no longer have to ever take any of my acid blockers, which makes me so much happier to be using something that is all natural. We then started using all of the essential oils in our kit, and our family found that we just love the benefits from them. So eventually I did start using the essential oils in my practice, but again, it wasn't with the animals at first. At first, it was with my staff members and even some of my clients. So staff members would complain to me about having a headache, and I'd bring out my peppermint roller bottle and I'd be like, here, try this. And a lot of the time we found that it was enough to relieve any of their symptoms, and they were so much more comfortable that they didn't have to take any medications. Now, I also spend a ton of time with my clients because being a holistic veterinarian and seeing their pets for acupuncture and chiropractic, I see them quite often, not just once or twice a year. And while I'm treating their pet, we often start chatting about things, and it's incredible the number of things that clients will tell me. So oftentimes they would complain to me about this cold that they just couldn't get rid of, and I would be like, wow, you really have to try these essential oils. And so I'd go and I'd get my little travel kit and I'd bring out my On Guard and I'd tell them to put a drop in their hands and bring out the Breathe and put a drop in their hands again, and I'd get them to breathe that in and tell them that it could provide them with some respiratory and some immune support. So I was constantly sending people home with my little 5/8 drams. So eventually, I did start using the essential oils with both my pets and my friends' pets. And now, after I've been using them and seeing such wonderful results with animals as well as with people, we do use them routinely in my veterinary practice. In fact, being a rehab vet, I'm really not sure how I lived without frankincense and copaiba and aroma touch, because we use them all the time in our treatments. And I also love having balance and serenity and lavender, and of course the new adaptive in our practice as well. We diffuse those every day. Working at a veterinary clinic can be very stressful, and so the rule in our practice is that whoever is having the most stressful day gets to choose which blend goes in our diffuser. So because I know how much essential oils can benefit animals, I hope that you guys all start using your doTERRA oils with your pets as well. And so here are a few tips on how to use these wonderful oils with pets. The first thing is we need to remember that their sense of smell is so much greater than ours, and we want to make sure that we don't overwhelm them. So the first tip is that you should always introduce your pets to essential oils aromatically. I recommend using a water-based diffuser and just using 1 to 2 drops at first and see how your pet reacts. You should be diffusing in a large open room where the pet can leave if they want to, and then just watch and see what they do. Signs that they might not be tolerating the oil or blend could be that they were either leaving the room immediately, or you might see signs like sneezing or coughing or changes in their respiratory pattern. Or sometimes you'll see things like drooling, or with cats, they'll do this weird eye squinting, or sometimes they'll seem a little bit lethargic. If you ever saw any of these symptoms, just turn off the diffuser, open the windows, take your pet to another room, and then that wouldn't be an essential oil or blend that I would try diffusing around those pets again. I'd just do that privately in my room with my door closed. You can also use these oils topically with pets. Now, when using them topically, you want to make sure that you dilute them. Pets are much smaller than we are, and so they do need diluted oils the same as children and infants would. So you can use the doTERRA Touch bottles because they, of course, are already pre-diluted for us. Or if you are diluting your own oils, for cats, I tend to dilute to a 0.25 to 1% solution with fractionated coconut oil. Or for dogs, I will sometimes use a 0.5 to a 4% solution, depending on the oil that I'm using. I do avoid the topical use of any of the hot oils with cats. And if you did want to use one of the hot oils or a blend that contain them in dogs, you do want to make sure that you dilute that much further. There also are some oils that you want to avoid using topically in pets. For example, birch, wintergreen, and tea tree. And in cats, I would also avoid the topical use of peppermint and spearmint. Some of the blends like Breathe and Zengest can still be used topically with pets as long as you do dilute them. Because it contains wintergreen, I don't recommend using Deep Blue on pets. Instead, for dogs, I would use diluted Aroma Touch. And for cats, I would use diluted lavender if I wanted to soothe any muscles or joints. And of course, you can always use diluted copaiba topically because it just works amazing to provide some soothing effects to muscles and to support healthy joints. So that's always a good choice as well instead of the Deep Blue. One of the ways that you can use essential oils with pets is to try self-selection. So with self-selection, you can actually take 1 or 2 oils or blends and present them to your pet with the cap still on. So I would present it to the pet and look to see what their reaction is. Signs that they really like that oil or blend might be that they rub up against the bottle, or they might try to lick the bottle, or sometimes dogs will even try to take the bottle right out of your hand, so be careful with that. Signs that they didn't like a particular blend or oil would be that they were immediately moving away from it or turning their head away from the oils. And of course, every once in a while, you'll get a pet that's completely indifferent to the oil or blend that you're presenting them with, in which case you could just try diffusing it and make sure that they tolerate it well. But it's a great way to see which blends and oils your pets might show a preference for. So hopefully this has helped you with a couple of tips on how to introduce these oils to pets. And if you want more information on using these with pets, doTERRA has an amazing podcast. The doTERRA podcast is called doTERRA Essential Oils Solutions. And there are 2 episodes featuring members of the Veterinary Advisory Panel. So the first podcast is number 49, and it's called Ask the Vets Essential Oils in Your Pets. And it was posted on November 12th, 2019. The second podcast is number 59, also called Ask the Vets Essential Oils for Your Pets. And that one was posted on December 10th, 2019 and features myself and Dr. Mia Frezzo. So hopefully this will provide you with a little bit more information on how we use the oils and some of our favorite oils to use. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really hope that you enjoy your journey with doTERRA and pursuing the wonderful benefits of these essential oils as much as I have. Have a great day.
So we discovered essential oils when we were living in a van down by the river. And we lived in, well, it wasn't quite a van, but it was close. So we got, a little trailer that's like basically 3 pieces that kind of go like this. Okay, so basically you got these roads that do like a figure 8 through the park. It was an old RV park, all right? And this was it was in a thicket. All trees, everything. This guy bought a big piece of land. There's a little stream, a little river that goes back here, so it's a van down by the river. And that's what it felt like. It was cramped, tiny little place that we lived in, but we made do. So somebody then sends me a little brown bottle of, hold on. Hold them out of the way. A little brown bottle of oil, essential oil from plants. We talked about that. If you haven't seen these, you soon will. Essential oil changes people's lives. Somebody calls us, sends it to us. I don't really know what it is. Put it in my mouth, about knocks me on the floor. Then we get a follow-up from the individual, who happens to be my sister-in-law, a woman named Natalie Goddard. She's an amazing person. She says, essential oils, they will change your life. They're amazing, they're awesome. And we were like, uh-huh. Now, we were a little bit open because we used herbs. She said, look, you really need to look at this. And we said, no. Try this again. Then we said, no. She tried us again and we said, no. Thick skulls, man. And, she was also telling us, over time as we're talking that, hey, what's cool is that they do change lives. We can introduce them to people. The product really works. But guess what? You can, if you want, you can change people's lives financially because there's the ability to create an income with it. And we thought, oh no, not one of those. And of course, fear takes over, which fear never does anything good. Product right there, works great, it's awesome. Opportunity, as we had been looking, we're living in a van down by the river. Meanwhile, essential oils are knocking on our door. Hello, hello, hello. And we're saying, no, it can't be that. We start having these experiences with being able to change and deal with the health of our children much easier than we ever were with herbs. So we got excited. Well, I did. Yeah. My wife didn't. She couldn't get over the whole income part of it. But for me, I got excited because now I started to see that this could be an income piece. But I had to fail a little bit first to figure this out. I decide I'm going to go for it. So I, after 3 no's, say yes to my sister-in-law. Okay? And she, in the meantime, is having great success as well. So she's trying to help me have success. She says you need to have an event where you can educate people about essential oils. I'm going to send an expert out to you. I'm like, great. I had no idea who it was. Turns out it was this really world-renowned expert that travels the world on essential oils. A little hotel room. I go all over the place. And I put out flyers. I go into businesses. I talk to holistic people. Everyone I meet, talk to them about it, invite them. Now, again, I didn't probably invite the people I really should have invited were the people that I had direct connections to and that I knew because, what? Fear cropped in, right? But I went out and told everyone else. And I knew hundreds of people were going to show up. We went 7 o'clock, we get ready, 7 o'clock. No one's showing up yet. No one's ever on time. 7:15. People are getting home from work, eating dinner. They'll be here. 7:25. Nobody. That was the first experience that I had in trying to help people become educated about essential oils. I made it my passion after that, though. I decided not to quit. I knew I could fail, but still succeed. And people I knew who succeed fail a lot before they succeed. So I didn't quit. And eventually my wife had her own stories about the essential oils, her own experiences that led her to start telling everybody about essential oils. And instead of doing a hotel room and instead of bringing in an expert, at least not a Dr. Hill, okay? We opened up our home, our van down by the river. Remember, this is not a pretty place. This is the kind of place that when people drove up in their cars and looked into the entrance right here, they went, am I gonna come out of there? I mean, this is a scary place. Not the best part of town and that sort of thing, but we invited people anyway. We had executives from big companies in Silicon Valley, their wives and people come, and they came. So we had 15 or 16 people come to that. And then my sister-in-law came out because we didn't kind of really totally know what we were doing and taught that class. And those people in that room, every one of them wanted those products in their life and in their house. What changed? My passion was just getting bigger. I was enlisting in a mission, and I really wanted and knew that they should have these essential oils in their lives and that it would empower them. And that's what I got excited about, and that's what we got excited about, and that's what they got excited about. The more people we helped get what they needed, what they wanted, the more we would be able to achieve and get to where we wanted, but we had to help others first. And so the more we focus on how to help others, because we notice in our business, because this is a business for us now, that if we ever lose sight of that, things don't go as well. As soon as we get back on track with helping others solve their problems and provide solutions for them, things change. So now, we don't live in that van down by the river anymore. We actually live on a mountain, pretty much on the top in a house, and it overlooks the ocean now. As far as we can see, the ocean. And we live surrounded by redwood trees and wildlife. There's a deer walking around. And all sorts of amazing things that we get to experience now and travel around helping other people. And we're no longer broke. And people we meet now are finding financial, physical, emotional, and spiritual healing and empowerment. I don't know what else I could do or what else any other person could choose as a career that could do and provide the same thing. Whatever it is that you do, make sure you're enlisted in a mission and a cause that will empower others and change their lives, because that's what we did. Thanks.
Hey everyone, Roxanne and James Bybee. How's it going there in South Africa? South Africa. So hopefully you're having a fantastic event. Although I know it's virtual, the way the world is these days, it's kind of craziness. But if you just watched the video and you just saw a little snippet and give you some ideas and some visuals, some actual visuals of what our living conditions were, what our economic conditions were, what our frame of mind was. And so I think we just want to spend a couple minutes giving you a little bit more clarity on what that was like. Were you loving it?
No, I don't know if any of you right now are experiencing being a place in your life where you're not where you expected to be. That's where we were. For me, we had 3 young kids and we're living in this rundown trailer, and I just was looking at my life going, this is not what I thought would happen. Financial disaster and major economic downturn in our economy and losing a lot of options. So I actually had to go back to work, and I had been home with my kids up until then, and we just needed an extra $1,000 a month to pay all the minimum payments on all the credit cards, and so I had to go back to work, and that was hard.
I mean, it was a tough time, especially, where we just weren't making it, right? Every month there just was not enough. And I'm sure that everyone can relate to those either currently or past experiences like that. For us, it was something we'd never really experienced before. We'd always had enough. Whether we had been wealthy or not, we'd always had enough, right? And that was, now we were in a condition. And what you saw in that video was you know, the locations had been a year or more since we'd ever been there, and we're actually looking better than what it was like when we were living in it. But that's what the financial input that we had at that time was doing, which was not enough. And then she's going back to work, working overnight, right? And then I would work all day, 16 hours, whatever, not really seeing the kids, and she and I seeing each other at brief moments, either in the morning as either one of us are coming in or going out, and in the evening for a moment as well. And so super tough times, and we were stuck in a situation that we were having a really hard time seeing how we could get out, right? What our options were. It's not like we had rich family members or an inheritance or the government to take care of us, whatever. It was like just, hey, we're in a hole. And it was 2008, which was a big downturn around the world, especially in the U.S. And we
very
were
similar to now.
Very similar to now, or what's coming, right? It's what's definitely coming. And we were kind of going, how in the world can we get out, right? And so we were looking for options.
Well, actually, he was looking for options.
That's true.
I was completely just on a mental, survival scenario. I was just barely getting by. And so I couldn't even see any hope. So if you're like me and you were feeling, even now that there's no hope, I just hope that you have someone in your life like I did that was a future thinker. He could see that there's got to be a better way, that we can't just work these jobs and get out of this major crisis, And so luckily I was able to hitch my wagon to him, and he got excited about doTERRA, and I was not excited. I was like, you go do that thing and I will support you, which actually meant I would do nothing.
Well, I mean, she was doing her part to keep things afloat, but it is hard, I can't say that I was like, I'm such a visionary that I'll sit down and figure this out. I was just in as much survival mode and desperation, and just literally feeling completely up against a wall, and just going, what is the future going to be, right? If I was being futuristic, it was more of like having a pity party every day of like, the future is not bright. Like, how in the world? I mean, we all of a sudden ended up in a place where we had just tremendous debt and income that was less than what was expected and was not providing what we needed every month just to feed our children, right? So I don't know if any of you watching this can relate to this, will relate to this, but you probably, if you don't, probably will know people who will. And what's coming, I believe, is going to create a lot of that, a lot more of that if it isn't already. The world is never going to be the same again. And yet, for me, I looked at doTERRA eventually as kind of some way out of the hole. I honestly didn't want it to be that. And I looked at everything else in the world first, like to try to do
franchises or whatever, right?
Real estate, whatever, things I had messed with in the past, talked to friends, whatever, right? Just trying to find something, but there was nothing in my current financial situation that would really let me climb out of the hole, that would give me a safety rope or a ladder or something to even think about getting out. So, my sister-in-law, Natalie Goddard, if you don't know about her, you will. Amazing force in the world of doTERRA and bringing doTERRA into the space that it's in, and which eventually has led to it being a viable option in South Africa. And she didn't take no for an answer, which I gave it to her, as you saw in the video, multiple times. And she just held a space, knowing that she wasn't trying to sell me something. She was just trying to enlist me in a cause and a vision that she was already starting to see and was experiencing with the oil. So the thing that really opened the door were the fact that there was some potential financial relief via products that seemed to be having an effect on people.
And that's what really changed my tune, was the products. He kept saying to me, you know, that head tension that you're having all the time, that you keep trying to take care of with naps or drinking more water or whatever, and it's not working, maybe you should try some oil on that, some essential oil. And I was like, what? Quit talking to me about these essential oils. But I tried it, and for me, and I don't know what this product is called in your market, but Deep Blue essential oil was a huge help, and it made it so I could be less cranky when I was experiencing that every week, because I would have it happen multiple times a week. And it wasn't like it went away immediately, but if I applied it, as I needed it, and that was often, after like a month and a half of doing that, like I didn't have that head tension anymore. So it was a big, that was like a big aha for me, was like, holy cow, these work. And I had one other massive experience that really changed my belief in this opportunity. And that was our very young son, who was, I think he was about 2 or 3 at the time. He wasn't napping. And I was trying everything, and he was my third child, so it wasn't like I didn't know how to get a kid to nap, but he just was very energetic and wouldn't nap. And so finally I put the oil called Serenity, which I'm not sure what it's called in your market, but we put that on his spine and on the bottom of his feet, and he just went right to sleep. And I was like, what? This has to be just a weird coincidence. And so I watched, and the days that I would forget to put it on him, he might fall asleep, but he would wake up super cranky and not sleep as long. And then the days that I would put it on him, he would sleep longer and wake up happier. And so after that, I just kind of thought, oh man, I have got to tell other moms about these oils, because if they're struggling and suffering like I was, then they've got to know that these are out there.
But also know that she was resistant to the oils, and I was taking advantage or jumping on this bandwagon for several months before she did and became involved. But the thing that did pull her in, and the thing that even strengthened my resolve as I started to experiment with what I thought was just crazy voodoo and didn't even understand from a business perspective how this worked, was the product, right? And so that's really what you need to know, is that the secret to this is for you to open up the bottles and get them on you, in you, and around you, right? It's just on you, in you, around you, oil up, and get those oils happening, right? So that you can experience them yourselves, so that you can better help other people have experiences as well. And when you have other people have experiences, then they will turn around and do the same thing. And that's what happened for us. At first, it was real slow, like most people thought I was nuts. And this was, of course, back when essential oils were not quite as known as they are now. And so now is an even better time than before. But most people said no. Most people didn't want to hear. Most people didn't show up or come to appointments, things like that, or events that we put together where we had small classes or things where we can educate people on essential oils. And of course, who's going to listen to us? We're living in a van down by the river, right? In a trailer with 3 kids wearing diapers on their heads, for fun, because that's all we had for toys, right? So, but it does, you can overcome that, right? I just kept sharing the belief, right? I kept sharing the belief. I kept building my own belief, and that's what happened, and that's what you need to do. And when I started to understand too how it was changing our family's life, building my belief, and then I started to see other families having experiences for themselves, for their children, for their relatives, and it started to kind of ripple out into smaller communities and then larger communities. Boy, that got exciting, and that built a stronger why and had us run even harder. And when she joined in with me, of course, that's not always a necessity, right? There's a lot of times where you have a partner that's not gonna, significant other, that's not gonna join in with you, and that's fine, because we all have our own thing that we decide to do. But when it did, that helped a lot too, because her mission to save other moms was huge. And then when I really started to understand what was happening in communities around the world where the oils were being sourced from, Africa in general is a major place now that we source essential oils from. And when I got to see and then eventually go to some of these communities and see how, even though they weren't really utilizing essential oils like I was, or like the people I was bringing into essential oils were, it was still changing their communities because of the way that we partner in these communities, and we bring change on a healthcare level, on a safe drinking water level, on an infrastructure from schools medical clinics, facilities, just being able to provide on-time payments and being paid, period, for the work that they were doing, and helping them to have better farming and all kinds of things that we do in this partnership with Co-Impact and with Healing Hands when we bring these services and aid into these communities in partnership with the local organizations, not like we're just walking in going, hey, we're dropping this money on your doorstep. We partner with community organizations to make all this come to be. And so when I saw how, like, okay, I see this mother and a child here in the US having dramatic shifts and change, and then in Haiti, seeing clean water, schools, and children being able to go to school and have clothing and have the resources that parents could provide because they're being paid for the work they're being done. And I saw how that on both ends of the spectrum and those dots came together, where I couldn't see that when I went to, the grocery store or whatever stores we go to here in the US. I couldn't see the impact by my purchase that I was having or by my use of that product. Now I'm seeing that have a major impact. And that is really the story of doTERRA. Me and my story, and a ladder out of a hole, and my wife being able to stop doing the things she didn't want to have to be doing, which was working, right? And outside the home, being with the kids. But yet, and then getting these amazing products, but yet also helping the community, but those communities being helped here, helping communities across the globe through co-impact sourcing. So just know that our story is that, and your story will be the same. Circumstances and details may be a little different, but you will have a story too that you will experience and you'll share. Right?
Absolutely. And we didn't have, we weren't set up for this to work. So if you feel like, man, we're not set up for this to work, the environment's not, looking like it's a good time to build a network marketing business, or gosh, I have less time than I've ever had in my life before, or whatever your reasons for kind of being concerned about trying to build doTERRA, I can tell you right now that, like, whether you're financially okay, but you have no time freedom, whatever the reason is that you've chosen to possibly look at doTERRA as an income stream, you want to put all the time and energy that you possibly can into this, because I watch people day in and day out now, even as we are successful and we have income and we're not living in the trailer anymore and the pool behind us is ours and all that, as I watch other people though that are successful, many of them do not have time freedom. They are never with their family, or they're with their family rarely, and their life is run by their business still. And with doTERRA, that's not the case. You're gonna build a massive residual income that you can put on hold for a period of time once you build it to a massive level, and you can do that. It's hard work, absolutely, but you guys are totally capable. It's not like you don't know what it is to do hard things. You do.
And if you think the economy is tough and challenging right now, and you're looking for a solution for that, residual income is the only solution. Whatever you do, it has to be residual income. You have to find a way to build residual income to be able to deal with the challenges that the world will bring as things change, and as your community changes or your circumstances change, as things happen in your life, either from a physical or a financial or a social way. Residual income is the only way for you to be able to deal with that and adapt to those changes and to those life events that will come.
It takes the control back. You get to take the control back. That's one of the things I love the most about this, is I could take control of my family's health, and we could take control of our financial situation instead of just feeling like, well, let's hope somehow we get a raise, like that just didn't work for us.
Yeah.
So hopefully this gives you some belief that you too can, if you're not set up for it perfectly, it can work. It can totally work. It's up to you.
So belief is the key. Whatever you believe, you can achieve. And I hope that South Africa shows up with essential oils to change all the people's lives that are there, the millions of lives that are there in your community and beyond. Thanks for your time.
Thank you to all of our speakers today. I really hope each of you took some good notes and have a desire to share the doTERRA message with others. Well, it's the holiday season, and one of my favorite parts of the holiday season is getting stuff for free. Of course. So, with that said, we're here to announce one of the best doTERRA promotions of the year, the Holiday BOGO offering. This BOGO will begin immediately following this event, where our BOGO box will be for sale. This box will feature these 5 buy items and these exciting 5 surprise products that will be revealed throughout the week. Also, the BOGO box will be offered as an enrollment kit with the enrollment fee waived. So make sure that you use this opportunity to share this amazing deal while supplies last. It's a killer deal, Addison. Really is a killer deal, and we want each of you to be able to participate in BOGOs this week. So make sure that you get online directly following the event to get these purchased. Thank you again for joining us today, and have a great weekend.